podcast. This is Adam, lead singer, and I hope I got this right, guitarist. Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Vocals and guitar.
yeah. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Serious day. Actually, I already done one interview on the podcast earlier today. I had Lucy Leitner. She was an author. We ended up talking about pajamas, jokes, and like other things. Like this show goes all over the place, man. So it
Yeah,
depends on the guest. Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I do like pajamas. I can't argue with that.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about like guys generally don't wear. At least I don't anyway. Generally don't wear pajamas. But if I
Sure.
were to wear pajamas, like this is just my generation. I don't know how old you are, so I'm 40. So it's just like for me, it'd be Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers. I am totally like honest about that, right?
Actually, same. I'm 37,
Okay,
and
yeah,
so yeah, man. I wasn't too far behind you. I
yeah.
definitely had a lot of pairs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mario had like a bunch of Mario stuff.
Yes, yeah. So we're the same generation in terms of
Yeah,
stuff. So I got
yeah.
how like the hard question. I guess we'll start with is this: Power Rangers or Turtles?
Turtles.
Turtles.
No question, man. No question.
No, it's
Turtles.
fair. No, it's fair. No, it's totally fair. I actually just interviewed a guy. He actually did Power Rangers continuity. He considered Turtles their biggest competition. So it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
seriously, yeah,
right.
it totally makes sense, right?
So yeah, and I mean, I remember like, so yeah, grew up on Ninja Turtles. I remember the Power Rangers coming through. I mean, just sweeping everything away for a good, I don't know, like 2 years, maybe in the early '90s.
Yeah.
I mean, like you couldn't get like Power Rangers action figures at all, and if you could find them, they were $50, which at the time was a lot.
Still, it is technically a lot even today. Just one of
Yeah,
those.
yeah,
It's
right,
just
right.
more normal. That's sad commentary, isn't it? So normal. Like our toys are way more expensive now,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I don't know. Really, despite what you might think, I haven't bought an action figure in a long time.
No,
Uh,
no. I just know this because of all the Kickstarter comic book stuff. Like I interview comic book creators, right? So, like, yeah, like it costs stuff to make stuff these days. Like,
right?
so it's like $50 is not an unusual amount of money for it, but it's still expensive. I mean, no matter
I
what
think
you,
so. Yeah,
yeah,
man. I mean, I fill up my car for $50. So,
yes, which is just like, yeah.
which is
I mean,
no less ridiculous. I mean, but whatever.
oh well, no, it's I'm in Canada, so it's even more up here to fill up
Oh,
50.
that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So like this is one of those. Okay, generally speaking, the metric system I do think is better than the imperial. The imperial is requires a certain level of drunkenness to make any kind of sense out of it, one way or the level. But
Yeah.
but here's the thing. Up here, when we introduced the metric system, so I watched. So do you know like 4 liters makes a gallon? But back when we started, no
Uh,
one knew that, right?
uh,
So we had a prime minister go, we're going to raise the price of gas 12 cents a gallon, which
mm,
is not a small feat. But then Trudeau went in at 4 cents a liter, right? One
right.
sounds cheaper until you actually
Mhm.
know the conversion, and then it's like, yeah,
No, totally, man.
yeah, Canadians got ripped off. So that's just one thing. Like we still pay by the liter, and it's insane up here how much we pay for gas, right? So
Yeah, I mean, we complain about it here, but from what I hear, man, we still have maybe the cheapest gas in the world in
you're up
America.
there. You're up there. Maybe some of the more third world countries, based on their dollar value, might get
Well,
it
sure.
cheaper, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
or maybe like Middle Eastern countries know where it comes from,
yeah,
since there's
yeah,
not, you don't have to factor in. I mean, I assume it's factored. You don't have to factor in transportation costs and all that stuff. It's just right there, you know.
that makes sense. Our world, as a general rule of thumb, man. I don't know about you, but I'm older and I'm more confused about how the world works now than when I was a kid, right?
Right? Seriously, yeah. I don't know things. I mean, things at least seemed simple
Yes,
when we were kids. I think, you know.
I try to keep. Well, here's the thing. Simple. Still, it's possible, but it's not easy, right? Simple and easy aren't the same things anymore, right?
True.
So, like we got adult stuff like paying bills, and we're looking at it, and I'm just looking at the fact that at this point in the ball game, I think our leaders and and people older than us are on drugs I don't understand. They're not sharing. I mean, I certainly don't get it, right? So,
Right.
but that's the world we live in today, right? And it seems like at this point, I just want simplicity. I was like, I mentioned this on the other interview. Give me a fishing boat, give me booze, and give me ice cream, and I think I'm good. Right?
Yeah, yeah, man. No, I'm with you. And maybe not those three things, but still just three things.
Yeah, yeah.
Three things and I'm good.
Well, like it doesn't necessarily have to be those exact three things. Although I do hope you're at least an ice cream guy. Of the three,
Yeah. No,
right,
of the three, ice cream is my favorite.
yeah. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
I can tell we'd get along just fine in real life. Like if we met at a bar, I think we totally would just get along just
Yeah,
fine.
right. No, ice cream is a powerful common denominator.
Well, yeah, no, totally. Like again, anyone. You might get a message from John because I wasn't sure what was going on for a minute. So it was just like 5 minutes. It's like I haven't heard anything. So where are they coming? But yeah, you're here, so it's all good.
Yeah.
So, but no, what I've noticed about this, right, is that as I've gotten older, I want to simplify my life. It's not. I just think personally, like I look at the whole American dream concept. Like I love that you can make your dreams come true. I think that's a very real thing. But what does that look like for everybody? That is as wide open as you can possibly get. And I think it should be. It really should be. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and I mean, so it sounds like the American dream translates to Canadians. I mean, as far as a concept, it sounds like you're familiar
Yeah.
with it.
Oh yeah. No. Absolutely. We got the same television as you do. So I mean, we
Yeah,
got the same
right.
bullshit. So.
But same thing. I mean, do you just call it the Canadian dream? Is it just the North American dream?
No. So Canadians are an interesting. Like we kind of despise you guys a little bit because we're always compared to you.
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, we also have but everybody says like we're the greatest country in the world. Now I don't know if that's actually true, but some people really like it's an interesting. We have an interesting headspace up here, right? Some ways, but I'll be honest. I mean, some ways I do think we're better than you. I mean, our healthcare isn't as criminal as yours, for example, right? And you definitely have a grandpa problem when it comes to your leaders. I don't fully understand like your thinking or lack thereof. Or that's like a conversation maybe for like hours over booze, right? Because but in some ways we are more Muslim. In some ways I feel like just from an outside, like because I've lived in both countries, like in Canada and in the States. Sometimes I feel like Canadians are the absolute last people to know what's really going on too, because it's just like right. And so it goes. So there's like a catch-22, and where I think America is awesome. This is where I think it's great. You guys aren't afraid to put yourselves out there, and I think it's one of the most admirable traits you guys have across the board. Not everything you do is great. But I admire your moxie just to go out there and give it a try. I think that is every country could learn something from that, right?
Sure.
Right. That doesn't mean again. I'm not saying all your ideas are good. That's not. But
no, they're not. They're not. A lot of them are terrible.
Yeah, but
I mean, if you take us as a people, yeah, we do some really stupid. Can I swear openly here?
You can say whatever you want, man. Listen, I only have just 2 rules. Don't be a bigot. And if you're going to be a dick, be an entertaining one. Fair enough.
Cool. Yeah, I can do both of those things.
Yeah. Yes.
And sorry, man. One more question. When this airs, is it the video that's going to air, or just audio?
It's live on Twitch right now. Right now. The audio will air in about 2 weeks-ish, give or take, maybe 2.5. And I might ask you for like a song for the audio. Maybe that might be something I ask for when it's over. Sure. But basically the straightforward answer is it's live now. Someone's watching it right now. And so it'll be here for weeks on end. And then it goes to my audio, which will be there for months. And then it goes to my YouTube where it will be there forever. Right. So there you go.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I don't remember what I was saying, but where I was going with this was that I think it's instilled in us from birth in America to like grow up and get all the money in the world and stick it in your ears and go, and that's like, I mean that's the American dream, and that's I think what we're taught success is as Americans. And I don't know. It seems like all of that. I mean, it's old too. All of that stuff about manifest destiny, and I think they're really old attitudes, and they just tend to carry on through generations. And so I think that's at least partly responsible for the reason that like Americans are like such go-getters, and we put ourselves out there, man, and we're gonna go take over the whatever.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I think we get it honest, I guess. I don't know if that's an excuse, but I do. I think it comes. I think we get it at a really young age, and then that's what we're taught.
But you also have a natural inclination to have platforms to go do stuff with too. Like, and I lived in Phoenix, for example, right?
Mm.
I learned how to sell in the States. I didn't learn how to sell in Canada. I learned how to sell there because you guys had something called First Friday, which is the first Friday of the month. People would come out with art, different artists would come out all over the city
Oh
and
yeah,
sell stuff, right? Your First Friday and mine up here, very different. Like you would look at us and be like, what is wrong with you guys? Right? Because you guys have city blocks of people going out there, hanging out, having a good time. Right? At least this is in Phoenix. I don't know whereabouts you at, but
yeah,
you
yeah.
go
No,
out
we
there.
have it here too.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado. Same thing.
yeah. So but the thing is, everybody's out there and everybody is pushing stuff. And I think in that particular environment, overall in a positive light, right? You'll see some amazing things and be like, wow, there's some like. I remember one time, and this is where I learned how to use my big mouth. As you can tell, I have a very big one.
Uh,
Rose
it's a
color.
good it's a good skill.
Yeah, it's so there was stained glass windows, some of the most like prettiest stained glass I've ever seen in my life. And to my right was like a legitimate rock concert. It's like, what am I doing here? Was like my question, but it was just that's just how it worked out, right? But I had to learn how to talk because if I didn't talk, because the line advantage you have as a musician is you can hear your sound, right?
Mm.
And I can make a decision on your sounds like this is good or this sucks, and I get that impression experience. For those watching or listening, or you've heard the song on previously, they have a really like Ash and Thorn have a great energy in their stuff. Like I definitely want to go in the mosh pit when I definitely listen to your stuff, which is actually I think that's totally what
It's
you're
the
going with,
idea.
boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So and that's what you want when you're music. I can feel that before I make a decision. Whereas a book, well, if I go, you'll be like, "What's it about?" And I'll be like, if I go like "Ajuma," you're gonna be like, "Oh, fuck, he doesn't know," right? And that'll be
Yeah,
pretty
right.
much right. And I'm sure you've done that when you've gone to like shows and stuff like that. You're like, "Hey, what's this about?" And you're like, "Oh God, what the hell do I say?" Right?
Mm. No, totally. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's kind of what we strive for.
Yeah. I actually think it's one of your best qualities. To be
Thank you.
very honest with you, I think it's one of your best qualities because you're not afraid to say, "This is who I am. This is what I do,"
Right.
and I think it's a great skill. That confidence is awesome, right? It does
Sure.
have its downsides, but I think the ups are more better than the downs, right?
Mhm.
Right, and I think that like that's the thing. I think that's your greatest strength as a country, and as long as you have that, you guys will find a way to survive. Now, again, there are other things we could go in great ad nauseum about that we like your education system, healthcare, your old man problem. I'd be like, yikes! But
Old man kink. It's an
yeah,
old
yeah,
man kink. Can we be
yeah,
clear?
yeah. No, totally. Old man king, just to be
Right. Right.
exactly right. And you keep electing the same guy every 4 years. It's like,
I know. I know. And I don't. I mean, I don't know. I hate to sell people short, but I think it's just a matter of availability and familiarity. You
yeah,
know,
well,
in a lot of cases,
that's how
and
commercials work, dude. Yeah, it's
right,
totally how
right. No,
commercials.
no, totally. And just the whole like career politician thing. I mean, it's like brand recognition.
Yeah,
You know, like you said, it's like a commercial. Brand recognition, same thing. You
yeah.
know, and
Well,
so yeah, I
I
don't I
mean,
don't know.
well, I like no, it's true. Like, okay, I'm gonna make fun of your current president because I do like I know a little bit of his history.
Yeah,
Joe
sure.
Biden is a big reason why your prison system's so fucked up. He's a
Yeah.
big reason. He's a big reason. He's not the only reason, but he's a big reason.
No.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. The last guy you had also was a very special case. Right, on top of that, right? He's like so I mean, so and you want to talk about brand recognition? Holy shit, right? Right. But at the same time, I kind of knew what Biden was like, what I was getting with Biden even before because he has a history. You have 40, dear God, 40 years of him in your political
Yeah.
system,
He's
right?
been kicking around a long time, man.
Yeah, and he was vice president too when Obama was president. So it
Yep.
was like, and Obama might be the most different president you have, except if you look at him, if you look at him, even not really. You look at Carter or Nixon, he did a lot of the same exact.
Yeah. And I mean, I think so. I remember reading about. I remember reading an article about why did Donald Trump win the election? I mean, it was a real upset. It was really unexpected to me. I remember. So, if I can take us on a brief aside, I live in a
Sure.
college town. I remember I was in the grocery store when when it was happening, when he won Florida. And that was probably the turning point. That was the point where everyone was like, oh my God, he did it. How did he do it? He won. He's going to win. And he did.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there were just like, the grocery store was just full of all of these like young 20 something people in college, just like sort of like pushing around their shopping carts like zombies, staring at their phones in disbelief, like what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's an interesting point that you brought up. I think it was in maybe Time or the New Yorker or something like that, and I read this write up, and it was like, why did Trump win? And it was because he was, at least in a lot of people's perception, the first politician in a long time who wasn't just going to polish the machine. I mean, that was effectively what Hillary Clinton was promising, without promising to do it, was like she's going to be another president. She's going to be another politician, another president, like the last 40 years. And here comes Donald Trump, and I mean, he was pushing people's buttons, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of his. But I could at least understand why certain people were so drawn to him and his message.
Well, yeah, because people were looking for a legitimate alternative. Like
Yes.
even me, it's like what's going on is like I don't want. Okay, I don't want, especially after I've seen the last 2 years, I don't want a Democratic like what I had the last few years. I don't want what I've seen with the Republicans for the last like ever too. So it's almost
Yeah.
like I'm picking my poison, and they're both terrible, right? Or
Yeah.
there's no. So when he came in, it was like so he did two things really well. He was very good on television. I think people underestimate just how good Trump is on television, and they take that for granted.
That's so
Right?
important as a politician to get
Yeah.
elected.
Yeah, it's huge. And especially like that election in particular, he didn't have a Mitt Romney to shut him down. He didn't have. I always forget the guy that ran against Obama the second time. I think it was John McCain, because McCain had a very strong presence too. Right?
McCain ran against him the first time. Mitt Romney the second time.
Yeah, but both
Yeah,
of
yeah.
them shut him down. Like Trump was in both of those elections, but he had no chance against either of those guys, because those guys, McCain had he at least had a personality. And
Oh, yeah.
Romney, while I there are things about him, and I'm not even talking about his religion, just some of his his business practices that I kind of went, yeah, okay, you're kind of scum, right?
Right.
I understood, like, smart, capable guy. I understood issues, but when you got to 2020, they didn't have any of those guys anymore.
No.
Those guys have come and gone, and so there was nobody to stop him on the Republican side, and the Democratic side didn't have as good a television presence either.
No,
Right?
not at all. I mean,
Yeah.
Biden's terrible on TV.
Yes.
Like, I mean, and I think, not
It's just
that he
how-
looks. He
Yeah.
doesn't. He what?
especially now. I mean,
Yeah,
especially you watch him now. It's like he's literally quoting the teleprompter now. So it's just like, oh god, like
yeah. Well, and he's starting to. I mean, for better or worse, like or I guess I should say, I hate to say this, the dude looks frail.
yeah.
You
No,
know,
he's
he
80.
does.
He's in his 80s, right? Or
Is
close
he?
to it. Like he's
Yeah.
87,
If he's not, he's close.
Yeah.
You might be right. He might be 80
Yeah.
plus. But
Yes.
but yeah, I mean, he doesn't speak well. He stammers, or like you said, he just quotes a teleprompter. Um, but yeah, he can't. He I find he consistently has a hard time delivering coherent, sound biteable sentences. You
Yes.
know that can then be replayed on, say, radio, on YouTube, on whatever. And that's something Donald Trump has always been really good at.
Yeah. And that's why he won the first time. The reason why he lost the second time was it was the pandemic, and it looks like a disaster. It looked like a disaster.
Mm.
I don't know if Biden ran tomorrow, he would look good right now. He probably would get killed, like by whoever was against him.
Honestly, I agree with you, and I mean, who knows what's going to happen in 2 years? I'm kind of bracing for that. You know.
Yeah. Well, no, no, no. I like this is the thing. Like, I looked at every disaster he's done in 2 years. Right? You could make a legitimate argument he's the worst president in the last in decades, and that says, considering what's been there, that says a lot. Like it
Mhm.
really, really does.
His track
And
record is not good. You know.
yeah, so anybody that's halfway credible will beat him next time.
Mhm.
Anybody,
Yeah.
right? So
And I mean, I'm pretty sure, just from what I've read, could be wrong, but pretty sure that Donald Trump is going to be the Republican candidate. I'd be surprised if he weren't.
I honestly, well, he's the only candidate that Biden might be. He's the only one.
Sure.
He's the only one. But if it's anybody else, if it's the Florida guy DeSantis, if it's anybody else,
Oh, right. Yeah.
if it's anybody else, they will beat him, and it will be easy, right? Because the argument is going to be just this: I can't do worse than this guy, and
Yeah, I know, right?
honestly, that's hard to fathom, isn't it? Like worse than
Yeah.
this guy.
Well, and I feel like a lot of times, I mean, I don't know, especially lately, I feel like that's often the mentality that people have when they're voting. Now, maybe not with Obama. I don't know. He was relatively, at least by his voter base, he was relatively beloved both of his terms.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like, I mean, I don't know. By the time, yeah, I think people consistently felt that way. A decent number of people felt that way about Donald Trump. I think that people felt that way about George W. Bush, and by extension, the Republicans. He of course couldn't run for a third term, but I think that was at least a big part of what was pushing people to vote for Obama, and why he just overwhelmingly, I mean, kind of mopped the floor with McCain in that first election when he ran.
Well, yeah, because McCain was coming off. Again, if you look at the economy at the time, the economy had collapsed, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's right. So I mean, and that's on Bush. That was Bush's Harding legacy. So, I mean, so Obama's argument is like, I could do better than this guy, and in all fairness, by and large, he did do better than that guy. All right, by and large.
Yeah. I would
Right.
say so.
Yeah, right. But I mean, his current vice president, I hate to say this, Bush might have been better. And I can look at that honestly. It's just like, and I'm not saying that with joy or happiness or
No,
right?
I don't think you are.
Yeah, it's just
It's cool to get your perspective. Do you consider yourself a Canadian?
I'm both. I'm dual. I'm Canadian and American, so I can tell you about Canadian politics too. So I've lived in both countries. I voted for both countries, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
I can do both. So
dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Wow, so exotic.
Yeah, so I can actually, so even with all the crazy mandates and stuff like that, I can still pretty much travel free and clear without any real major headaches. I got more headaches on this side than I do on your side, which is, I think, fun, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, in some ways, I feel like Canadians are the last to know, and then this is one of those areas. It's like, oh, but anyway, that's another Philippines for another day.
Right.
But I mean, But if you want to be honest about like Trump, he's like a reality TV version of Reagan.
Yeah, yeah.
The only difference is Reagan was actually liked because he seemed, and I even remember this, he was a well spoken, he seemed like a genuinely nice guy, at least for the first 6 years of his term. Right?
Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan.
I mean, he was an actor, which
Yeah.
helps tremendously at, being on
Yeah.
camera, being a politician, or making people happy.
Yeah, exactly. So he was good at it. So, I mean, that's who I compare Trump to. It's like he fits more of those check boxes than any of the other politicians out there. And it's just like, so all of which is say, and again, all the different ways I've put this, you've elected the same guy for 40 years. I'm sorry. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, man.
Yeah. Kind of it is. I know part of the process too. It's kind of a little bit my fault. It's not just my fault, right? It's just like one of those, right?
Well, I mean, I think we as Americans, and maybe just we as people, as human beings, have in our head, and where that comes from, whether it's something that's socially transmitted or something a little bit deeper. I think we have in our head a kind of ideal form of a politician, of what a leader of a nation looks like. And yeah, we're gonna probably elect someone a lot like that every time, no matter where we are.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting now is I don't think it's aged well anymore, and we're ready for something completely like not just you. I think it's the whole world is ready for a very different kind of leadership.
Yeah.
And so my big grandiose thing, I don't know what you know about decentralization, but I mean that's a big topic. I think we're going to go that route eventually. The only thing I'm not sure about is how we get there, right?
I don't know either, man. I don't know either, because everything. I mean, I don't know either. I feel like we're so heavily centralized. As far as at least as far as our government goes in America, probably Canada. I'm a little embarrassed to say all I know is that you're north of us, and that's it.
No, dude, trust me, I understand. I've lived there. I totally understand. Let me put let me put to you like this, okay? Me and you are having a conversation right now. You you can just give me the city. What city are you in right now?
I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Okay,
So
I am
just
in
north of Denver.
yeah, and I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm
You're
not
like straight up from me, man.
yeah, exactly, totally, right? So I mean, think about it like this. This is a kind of like a modern miracle. If you really sit there and think about it, we're having a conversation,
Right.
And I'm having and I'm holding my own about American politics with you, even though I live up here, right? I have a good understanding, right? That's a cool. Sit there and think about that. That's a really cool concept. And also, here's the other thing too. We pretty much have gotten along. Like we haven't really gotten into deep detail of our political beliefs and stuff like that, but we've had a reasonably nuanced discussion about, right, and about it, which shows us it's possible for people to individually just talk and get along and form an opinion and have a great conversation. Now, here's the thing. There's no governing body saying anything about this conversation.
No.
Now let's go one step further. I'm sure, much like me, you do YouTube University. Whereas if you want to learn how to do something, you're going to go on YouTube and figure it and see the basic instructions. And shit out,
man.
Right?
No, totally. Like car stuff, especially.
Yeah, absolutely, right.
Yeah,
and you can learn. But here's the thing: I do television, like commercial stuff like that, right? You can learn anything. So here's a question for you: from a specialized knowledge point of view, why would you go to school? And I'm not talking like strictly a knowledge-based school, not all the credential bullshit, but you get where I'm going with this, right?
I do. No, I do, man. And I mean, honestly, actually, here, okay, check it out. So, I went to school. I went to college. Went to 4-year university in the town where I live, and I got a psych degree from that. Got a BS in psych, and I don't use it. I'm a microbiologist. Is my day job. I'm a stage performer by night. I'm a microbiologist by day, and I will never use that psychology degree I got. And everything I guess to underline your point, everything that I've learned, I have learned just on the fly. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I mean, I've learned it in the field, so to speak.
yeah.
Uh,
And you're a smart, bright guy. I mean, I'm sure there were days where it was like, "What the hell am I doing here?" But I mean, you
yeah,
picked up on
no,
it, right?
totally.
Right?
You do.
Yeah. My
And
question: what kind of microbiology, if you don't mind my asking?
I work for a third party research lab. I actually can't tell you the name of it. I would,
No, no,
but
no, 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 no. I don't need to know that. Like, can you tell
but
me what you do specifically, like
yeah,
without giving any real secrets away?
totally. So we do veterinary drug research is the short of it.
Oh,
So
okay.
like, you know, and by veterinary drug research, I don't necessarily mean like we do some like we call them companion animals. So those are like
Yeah,
your
yeah,
pets, dogs,
yeah,
cats. But it's mostly livestock.
yeah.
So, you know, I mean, livestock is a big business in the
Oh
US.
no,
And so,
big
you know,
time.
we're trying to cure certain diseases for drug companies in poultry, in cattle, in swine, you know, your big meat animals. And that's what I
So,
do.
so flip side, I've been into the factories where we take, like, I've seen it where we've, like, without going into too much details of where the sausage come from.
Uh,
Sometimes there are whole sections of packing plants where they take out cancers and things of that nature. Sometimes in animals. Some, right? Oh yeah,
wow,
yeah.
man.
I can only imagine what you see on your end, right? I know we can't. I really we can't. I'm sure really talk about that,
I
right?
can talk to you about what I do all day. I just can't name names.
No, no, no,
You
no,
know?
and yeah, no, it totally right. And there are things you've seen, and I'm sure sometimes with what you've seen, you're like, do I buy this at the grocery store anymore? And probably in some cases, nope. Right, and that's not because
You know,
you just
it
know.
actually ruined like one of my favorite products in the world for me for the rest of my life. And I'm not going to tell you what it
No,
is
no, no, and you shouldn't
because I
because that will
don't want
get
to do that to somebody else who also loves this thing. You
but
know?
but also in the event you actually say it and it comes out, you might get in trouble and I might get in trouble, and I totally understand that. So yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
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 no,
just
I
yeah,
work
no,
I work for something that is I mean, you know, it's a small business, honestly, man. It's like a mom and pop lab.
but you have but your clientele are big people, and I totally no, 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 and that, again. Also, if we're going to go back to the decentralization point, so we can move veer a little bit away from this, so
A little bit,
again, a little bit,
right?
but right, and that's this. You have decentralized. You have a big company going to small people for specialized information. And if that's not
Hmm.
an example of decentralization, I don't know what is,
That's a
right?
good point, man. It's a good
Yeah.
point. Uh, and I don't know, you know, I mean, from I've been lucky. I've never worked in corporate culture, you know, and I've never heard anything good about it. I can't say I've never worked there. Only worked for small business.
Yeah, so I did a immigration show for a company up here.
Yeah,
So
really.
it's the only time in my life I've ever been fired for being successful. It's the it's the only time in my
Oh,
life.
wow.
We went from 500 views to 14K views. I think I consider that a pretty good success, right?
Yeah.
I got fired. They wanted to change the show in a different direction, and I was one of the showrunners, and they basically said, "See you, bye."
Oh
But,
man.
yeah, right. So I
Bummer.
mean, I mean, I have been fired for. Sometimes I have deserved it. I'm not even going to I've deserved being fired.
Uh,
This one is the first time in my life I felt weird about it. Not because it was partly because I built it, but also partly because like I didn't do it. Like it'd be one thing if I did something wrong. I
sure.
didn't. Right.
What?
Right.
So then what was the technical reason that they let you go?
Honestly, they wanted to up. So I was given essentially a Zoom budget. We were using Zoom to build the show. So we created sets and stuff like that, and we worked on it. And they wanted to upgrade the show. And to be very honest with you, they needed to. But they also had access to a film director that had a lot more experience with that kind of stuff than I do. So uh, taking me off the video production end of it made
Mhm.
sense. Honestly, I can't really fault their decision there.
Sure.
What was interesting was um, they were moving my co-host off the show and putting her in more of a corporate gig. And what ended up happening was they said they moved me. And as for the decision why, I don't know. The hilarious thing, here's the hilarious thing. She told me this she told me this towards the end of my time there. She was pregnant. So they were going to have to take her off of maternity leave anyway. So, I mean, it was one of those things where I just looked at it and just went, shrug. And that was my experience in corporate culture. That was yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I've only ever worked for small businesses. Most people I ever worked with in a building, 20.
Yeah, and you know what? And it's probably the most honest environment you've ever worked in too, because everybody's there to do something, right?
Yeah, totally. And I mean, so now the lab where I work, 10 people. That's it. 10 people, not just in the building, in the business. It's just 10 people, and we generate a lot of data, but. Honestly, I mean, yeah, man, it's kind of you're right. You're right. It's definitely, and it definitely reflects some kind of decentralization.
Yeah. And let's go even a step further. You're a band, a metal band, publishing on your own right now, doing your thing out in the open. The fact of the matter is, it is not impossible for you. Now, again, it may not be every band's got different goals. Like this might just be. You might be very happy with your day job and feel good with that. You might just want to do this as a side gig for the rest of your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's your goal. We'll get into that when we get there. But the whole point is there's, from an arts standpoint, you have an optional path of how far you want to go, unless you just hit it really big, in which case you're like, well, shit, right? But that's right. But you have an option for how you want to proceed the journey now. There's a lot more open doors, if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's all DIY for us at this point. Literally all of it. I mean, from artwork to promotion to booking to recording, obviously writing the music. But yeah, man, I mean, we do it all ourselves, and that's not to say that we're not experiencing some degree of at least small scale success, because we are. We're doing all right for ourselves right now, as far as like a band at our level goes. We're not just like toiling away in obscurity in a basement.
No, you're not.
Nothing wrong with that. Everybody starts out that way.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, we've managed to. I don't know. I mean, we leave for Seattle in a week.
Which is cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? Now I've never even been to Seattle, and now my excuse to go there is, oh yeah, I'm playing with my band. I mean, honestly, like, I don't really have any complaints. Of course, I'm the kind of musician. We're the kind of band who just wants to. I mean, we want to take it as far as we can. Granted, we play like kind of a niche sort of music, and I understand that. But beyond that, yeah, man. I mean, we want to. We would love to make a living off of this.
Which isn't impossible. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time. And when you're balancing a day job on top of that, it takes longer.
Yeah, it does, man.
But it's not impossible either, right?
No.
It just hits the right. I just interviewed Stormbound. They ended up playing with Epica, which is pretty sweet, right? When you sit there, that's pretty
nice,
sweet.
Man.
Yeah,
that is sweet.
Yeah, that is sweet. So you never know, right? You go to Seattle, you have to meet the right people. By the way, just as a personal aside, just bring a lot of like rainwear, like really good rainwear. It's just fair warning to you.
Right? No, I've never been to Seattle. Always wanted to go. I love the rain. Honestly, like I'm always trying to dress as if it's raining right now. Just as I don't know.
I seriously promise you'll get your wish when you get there.
You mean it?
Totally. No, it rains.
No, yeah.
It rains twice a year. I live in Vancouver, British Columbia, just north of it, and we're still saying rainforest. It rains twice a year, January to June and July to December. Man, you're gonna.
No, that's cool, man. Yeah, so I'm from Tennessee originally. I was born and raised in the country, honestly, and it rains all the time there. I mean, it's the South. It's wet. It's verdant. It's rolling hills. There's not a lot of stuff to get in the way of rainfall. And yeah, it rains all the time there. And then I moved out to Colorado when I was 19 to go to school. And and yeah, I mean, like it's I don't know, it's like a high plains, semi-arid desert up here or something like that. And so I don't know.
Interesting. How high up
Yeah,
are you?
we're so Denver's a mile high,
Hmm.
uh, and I'm just an hour north of Denver, so about a mile, maybe just slightly lower.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I can see the foothills of the Rocky Mountains outside my window
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
Okay. So
You know,
we are where I'm at here. We're 3,000 feet above sea level. Just to give
yeah.
you an idea.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, just give you an idea. I think you're a little higher than us, but not by much,
No.
right? No,
Yeah,
not by
yeah.
much.
I'm about 5,000,
Yeah.
five
And
thousand
well,
one hundred
yeah,
ish.
yeah. So no, you don't like Seattle. It's flat. It rains a lot. You almost feel like you've gone home again. Almost, right? So
Right.
you'll
Love
have
it.
fun. You'll totally have fun out there, man. I think.
Yeah.
But congrats. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like,
Well, thanks.
no, and you're a great band to listen. Like, I definitely would love to hear you guys live. Like, because I think that's where your stuff really thrives.
I mean, I think we all shine there. You know, we I don't want to say that we don't like recording, but we don't like recording. and and I mean, like it's fine. Like we're a band, we got to do it. It's not like there are a lot of other things um I like it more than doing a lot of other things. But live, man, like playing live, that's what it's about, dude. It's about playing live. And and I mean, I was a founding member of this band, and I left for a long time and just recently came back. But most of my like artistic creative career has been on stage doing some kind of acting rather than as a band. And honestly, that's where I'm comfortable. I mean,
Feeding off a crowd is awesome. And the cool thing about like a metal show, it is like the healthiest form of aggression you'll ever
right?
see. It's one of the right. It's healthy. I saw Amon Amarth. Okay, so
Nice.
and they're
Love
a
them.
great band live. But
Yes, they are.
nobody hates these guys.
No.
I had a buddy of mine when I said I liked metal, and he had this look on his like, oh really? And that's the first band I named. They're like, that's a strong start. It's like, yeah, it kind of is,
Yeah,
right?
right. I think
Right?
I think they're a good litmus test.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
yeah, I think
If you know who they are, you pass.
no, totally. I think a lot of metalheads, I think some of us can be a little insular, just as that kind of thing, like, oh, you like metal, huh? Okay, like, come on, give me some bands. But yeah, Amon Amarth, like, I think they're so universally beloved, and it's how do I say it's the right kind of metal, you know. That
They have a good balance between serious and fun. Like
yeah,
they take themselves very seriously, kind of. You go on there, they're drinking the horn, they're having like a good time out
right.
there, right? So it's the only metal show I've ever been beamed on the head with a wheelchair. The wheelchair actually crowd surfed all the way up. It was amazing, right?
That's
It's
awesome.
like one of those like ow, and then you look up, it's like holy shit, a wheelchair. How the hell did it get up there, right?
Have you seen the rope hit? Do you know about that?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Okay. So I hadn't heard about it. Again, I was away from the metal scene for a good 5 or 6 years. I mean, I didn't really do anything in it. But I started coming back around because I'm like, this is where my heart is, man. I love metal. It's my passion. I've got to go back to it. I miss my friends. I've got to go play it again. I wanna be with these people. And so I went to see Mona Marth and incidentally ran into Sierra, Oak Ash and Thorn's drummer, the only other founding member. And we just had a great time. But she explained, oh, when this song comes on, I don't remember which one it is, man. But she's like, when this song comes on, we have to sit down. I'm like, what do you mean we have to sit down? And she's
Oh,
like, yeah, everybody in this certain area, we're all going to sit down and we're going to have a rope hit. And literally, what you do is you have like a bunch of dudes just sitting like you're on a longboat, and you're all going to the beat. Whoa.
No. I know the song you're talking about. We couldn't do it because we were.
Pursuit of Vikings? Is it Pursuit of Vikings?
There's yeah. I think it's on the Thor album. I do know that it's the one of the Thor songs. I can't remember
Yeah,
which one it is, but here's the thing: we couldn't do it. We were so packed. There was nowhere to sway that we could sit. No, we actually shook the building. The building shook. We were so loud. Oh
that's
man,
awesome, man.
yeah. We actually had they went for the encore, and we still wanted them to sing. They were actually looking at the owner because I think if they hadn't come back, we would have rioted, and they probably
Really,
would have. Oh yeah, I don't know, dude. It was a wild show. It was awesome,
that's great. No, yeah,
right?
yeah, they're great, and they've gotten to the point where they put on such a great stage show.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw them, it was probably 2019. I think like right before the bottom dropped out with the pandemic.
Okay.
Uh,
I hadn't seen, I saw them in 17. So it was just so
oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and I mean, but yeah, they brought all this stuff from I mean, overseas from Sweden, and the singer Johan, he he's battling Jormungandr, I think the world serpent.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
like on the cover of one of their albums, and I mean, like they have this giant, like ridiculous monster serpent prop that they bring out, and then he beats it with a hammer, and it totally harkens back, I think, to just to the more theatrical roots that metal had in the 80s, maybe, like with the big ridiculous arena shows and stuff like that.
Well, the cool thing about a metal show is you don't know what you're gonna get when you go to one, right? Like I had like there's a band I'm listening to, Scythia. It's a Calgary local band. The
Uh,
bass player plays barefoot on stage. I've never like only a metal show you'd see that. Like you wouldn't see that anywhere else, right?
no, no, yeah, that's
Right.
great.
Yeah, that's right. You see, you're popping for that, right? It's like that's cool. Then you'll go to another show. Again, it's theatrical. It's a cool, like that was homage to the old Manowar like hairband era which is just like you'll see that sometimes, dude. You're like, okay, I'm in. Why not? Like let's just have some fun, right?
Yeah,
And that's the
right.
whole thing. It's a when you go to a metal show, it's healthy in that. Okay, so yeah, if you're in the pit, you're gonna get hit. By the way, hardest I've ever been hit, 80 to 120 pound girl was just doing those sleeping body checks. Great, 300 pound guys don't hit as hard as she does, and it's just like
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure if I should be if I'm impressed or in love. I'm not quite sure on that one, but
Yeah.
it was impressive, right?
It's funny you mentioned that, man. So yeah, I was just talking to a coworker who's also just like a fan of loud, heavy music.
Yeah.
We agree on that. And she's like, you know what I really hate? I really hate when like I go into a pit and guys just bolt, you know? Because she's like, yeah, a lot of times like a girl goes in the pit, a lot of them leave, And I'm like, I mean, I've seen it too. I try not to do that because I don't know. I think it sucks.
It's a weird. It's about okay. So here's the thing. I feel really bad. Like if I'm about 5'10", 5'11", about 180 pounds. I'm not the
Sure.
biggest guy in the pit, but I'm not the smallest either. You're right. And I lifted like I used to work at a warehouse. So I got hit harder at work than most people are going to hit me in a pit. So it was one of those situations where again, all the 400-pound guys, I'll go all in on it. I mean, that's I get right because they can take it, and I know I can. But when I'm hitting somebody they're aggressive, but I know I can like legitimately floor them. I tend to be my nature is to be gentler.
Yeah,
All right, right,
that
yeah,
makes
it's my
sense.
nature. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
because I'm not trying.
I at least won't evacuate though. I won't just leave. I might tread more lightly, but to me it doesn't matter if it's a girl, if it's a guy.
No. But
You
like
know,
if the guy is legitimately if I feel it's a mismatch,
yeah.
I'm not gonna. Now again, but there are, and I'm gonna say this straight up. There are girls that can hold their own in the pit. I've seen it.
Oh no, totally. Yeah, dude.
They'll go in there and they'll like bring it, and it better. I mean, they'll call you things. You're like, I feel so inadequate right now. I should have actually hit you. Right?
I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Yeah, I think yeah, one of like the and I mean, I've been lucky. I've never been like really, really banged up in a pit. I mean, sure, yeah, it's you fall down, you get bruised. I've never broken anything.
Yeah.
except maybe my nose, and it was definitely at the hands of like you know a smaller young girl who was just going to town and got me in the elbow,
Ooh.
right in the nose, and it was just like a crunch, and and yeah, it bled. Again, nose may have been broken. I didn't deal with it. I was in my early 20s, whatever.
Yeah,
but,
no, it's so good.
but yeah,
No,
man.
for me, the only thing I hate in the pit is kidney shots. That's what I hate in the pit. Anything else,
Yeah,
I'm fine
that's
with.
dirty.
Yeah, oh, so it wasn't on a mark. It was in the middle. So I got hit in the kidneys. I looked like you do that again, I'm going to drop you right here. He backed off.
Good,
Right? Yeah,
good.
yeah. He backed out because I told him, like, don't you dare do that again. Right?
Right.
Right? 'Cause kidney shots can really, 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 really can like mess you up. So I'm
Yeah,
just like, yeah. So I try. So metal etiquette, guys. Above the waist. Above the waist.
above the waist, always above the waist.
Yeah, above the waist, not for the head. Try not to go for the freaking head. Just but anywhere in the safe spaces in the upper body, you're
Right,
fine.
yeah, no, like neck,
Yeah,
neck to belt buckle. Like, I
yeah,
mean, that's what we're there for. Hit
yeah,
me. I'm
yeah,
good with
yeah,
that.
yeah. Avoid the freaking kidneys. That's it.
Yeah,
Just avoid the kidneys. Right, right, and
right.
then everything else. And if someone goes down, you help them out. That's the other rule.
Right away. But I've never been to a show where that didn't happen immediately.
Yeah, no,
Everyone's
no, no.
always looking out for it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's why it's healthy aggression. It's like, yeah, if you go
yeah.
down, if someone's going like, oh shit, okay, here, get your ass up. Like no one wants to see it. And the other thing too, if you go up, everybody gets you up. And if you go to
Uh,
security, get me out of there, they will get you out. Again, they're not. Everybody's there wants to have a good time. And nobody wants any real serious injuries, and nobody wants to
no.
feel like they're unwelcome, or damaged in the pit, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Right.
But that's the
Uh,
best. That's the best stuff, though. When you do see it, and you can just do it like you have a crowd that's in a frenzy. It's probably like it's a high probably for you when you're up there.
man, what I think. Okay, I think the most intense pit I was ever in was Slayer. Um, don't know if you ever got to see Slayer or not,
Not live, but again, it's
dude.
another metal safe choice. If you say Slayer, no one's gonna hate you for that one.
No, 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 no. Yeah, you're right. You're right. No,
Yeah,
they're immediate metal cred band.
yeah, exactly. No one's gonna hate you for that,
I
right?
know. Yeah. So okay, check it out. There have been 3 times in my entire life I thought I was gonna die, and one I almost drowned whitewater rafting in Tennessee when I was a kid. Two, I almost died in a car wreck in beside a river in Tennessee when I was a kid. And then three, I saw Slayer in 2007 in Denver at the Fillmore Arena, and they played Raining Blood. And like, I mean, it was just people were just so excited about them, and also, I mean,
It's Slayer.
it's Slayer. Yeah, right, exactly. Like I
Right.
don't even feel like you have to say anything more than that. It's Slayer and it's Raining Blood, and like literally, man, there were so many people, and they just all rushed like the barrier at the front of the stage, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is awesome. I'm gonna die, and I definitely. definitely thought for a minute like I'm gonna get crushed, but you know what? Like, there's nothing else that I would rather be doing right now if I'm gonna get crushed and die.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. No. It's like it's one of those things where it's like I'm gonna have the time of my life, and it's great. Right. Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the best shows. Now I never look like a metal guy when I'm in the pit. I'm either like actually I'm a little bit dressed up for the pit usually, which I think is
Yeah,
hilarious because I enjoy it. The first time I went to the pit when I was in there, right? Because they'll try to get me out of there a lot harder because I don't look like. So it's actually a hilarious little thing. And then when I hold my own, I enjoy that so much more. And then there's like it's almost like I'm re-earning cred every time. Maybe I'm insane. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I just like
yeah.
it's fun.
I mean, I get what you mean. Like, there's definitely sometimes like I'll scan a pit and I'm like, I mean, like you're welcome. Please come hang. But also like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I
Then
mean?
and then you watch that guy outlast everybody. And you're like, you know what? I was dead wrong about you,
Dude,
right?
this just happened to me. I just saw I'm sorry, I saw Goat Whore, if you know them, in Greeley a few months ago, and yeah, there was a dude just like that who just dominated the pit the whole night.
Yeah.
Just like very unassuming, kind of not like is not like me. Didn't like look like a metalhead. You
Yeah.
know. And yeah, man, he just tore it up all night, put everybody else to shame.
Yeah, like I said, it's just how it goes. Like my rule is wherever I get, I'm not going to try to push, but wherever I get, and usually more often than not, I end up right near the front, like
Yeah,
almost always.
right.
And I'm usually there the whole night, right? I'm usually there the whole night, so it's just like,
Totally.
yeah, usually. So I mean, but I mean that's just how it goes, right? Like that, but that's the fun of going to a live show. So I'm going to say there's two reasons why you hate recording music. I have a theory. So we'll go with the first. The first one I think you're going to confirm. The live
Yeah.
rush. You can't get that in a stage. You just can't do it.
No,
Go
you can't. You don't get it in a studio, man.
no,
It's
you can't.
it's tedious and it's yeah, it's tedious and it's tedious.
Yeah,
It's
no, it's fair.
tedious,
It's fair. So let me
you
give you
know.
the second reason.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Chaos. Let me elaborate that a little
Okay.
bit more.
Elaborate.
Okay.
Please do.
Real art isn't perfect, right? So it's the thing about a live performance. It's what you're doing at that moment at that time.
Mhm.
Now, you want some polish because you don't want it to be complete shit. But at the same time, there's one thing to pursue greatness. It's another thing to pursue perfection. Now, when I was doing this show very early on, I realized that leaving mistakes in on purpose actually enhanced the realism of the conversation.
Right.
Right?
Yes, it does because that's how life is.
Yeah. So there's that little bit of chaos. I'm not saying like it's so ginormous that it just there are quote unquote metal songs that sound like complete discord, and I'm just like, nah, man. Right?
Yeah, but that's different. That's
Yeah, yeah,
intentional.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think I think you can go too far on the chaos. But I like it when it's just like you put together a great song, but there's just these little tiny errors in the song. I think they actually add to the music and not detract from it.
Honestly, I agree with you. Okay, it's funny. It's funny you say that. So, well, here first, let me answer your question. Yes to both of those. Um, to a degree, I think that a lot of musicians who do end up recording are perfectionist in some way, and I am
Sure.
about some things, but like not everything because I want things to ultimately sound like they kind of naturally arose rather than sound sterile and artificial and I mean I tend to gravitate towards metal that sounds more organic, like
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
90s stuff. Black metal's still my favorite kind of metal
So
because
I'm European symphonic power like metal. That's my jam. Like I love the Blind
also dig a
Guardian,
lot
the
of that.
Epica.
Yeah,
But the reason,
love
but here's
love Blind Guardian, by the way, one of my favorite bands ever. Love
yeah,
love that.
Beyond the Red Door is amazing. But okay, so my inner book nerd, my favorite book series of all time is The Wheel of Time. They actually did
Oh,
a song based on The Wheel of Time in one of their albums. So it's just
which
like
song is that?
they actually have one called The Wheel of Time, and it's all about Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time.
Man, what album is that on? Do you remember?
Oh God. It's in my storage locker in Calgary. I would if I knew what it was called. It's mid '90s. It was a mid '90s release. I know that, but I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head. It's blue cover out on the album. It's got a picture on it. It's not one of those enhanced. And it's not a major song on that album. It's like one of their minor songs on it, right?
Songs from the Twilight something Realm World.
Yes,
That
yeah.
one.
I think it's
That's a
that one.
great
Yeah,
album, man. I love that album.
yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah.
Uh,
So but I love that style of metal, and the reason I like it's that again for that same reason. I honestly think everybody that's into that metal are music. Like I feel jazz and metal are the music fans, right? You guys approach music the same. You come at it slightly different ways, but you're music fans. And I
yes.
realize that, right? You're both big music fans, right? And quote unquote music nerds, right? In your own way, like right. So metal is where you'll hear the most classical music. And I find that European power metal tends to go that route the most.
Yes. I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you because I like a lot of that stuff myself, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah. Again, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna sound like an old man. Uh, I feel like all of my favorite metal, all of my favorite music just comes from the 90s. I
Yeah.
think like that's when a lot of my favorite power metal came out. Favorite death metal, black metal, favorite I don't know, favorite techno. Favorite like Detroit techno, like that kind of stuff. Late 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, it's okay.
where was I going with that?
It's what you grew up with. It's what you grew up with, man.
It is.
Right?
It's what I grew up with, man. I got into this stuff in like 90, 98. It's when
Yeah.
I think I heard like my first black metal record, and yeah, man, like that's what was there.
Yeah, mine was probably Metallica's Black Album was probably my favorite, my first entry into the quote unquote metal world. Now it's not their good metal; their good metal is pre that. Like I think,
I
so,
mean, black albums are okay. All right. In all fairness, like entry into metal, also Metallica for me, it was Load because Load had just come out. It's 96. I like Load. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a fan. I think the songs on there are, and I think that they're unusual. But
well,
Black Album is good.
so for me, okay, so I think bands do get like quite as close to perfect as possible. They all have those perfect albums. For me, Metallica, it's Black or Master of Puppets.
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
I can't think of a bad song on either album.
No,
Right?
no,
Right?
no. I think that they're both. Honestly, dude, like everything that band put out in all of the 80s, all of the 90s is just sterling to me. Even Reload, even Garage Inc.
Garage Inc. I didn't mind. I think it was overpriced, but I didn't mind. I think it's cool that they were actually trying some different.
Yeah,
Metallica in the late '90s was trying different stuff, and
there were.
I can't fault them for that. You have to at some point. You're gonna come up with a concept album. Like I like one of my modern stuff I really like is Thousand Suns by Linkin Park. It's not the regular stuff at all. It's a
Uh,
concept album.
sure,
But I love they tried it,
right.
right? Because it made when they went back to the regular stuff that much better, right?
Sure, sure, sure.
Right? Because it let them expand their horizons. I like YouTube by and large,
You two
not
is great.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
man. No,
But
you
they're
two fantastic.
but I'm not as crazy about their techno stuff. I'm just not,
Sure. Yeah.
right? But at the same time, when they went to All You Can't Leave Behind, which I think is their best like late '90s album by a shot,
Hmm.
I don't know they get there without going through that techno phase or without going through you have to explore art in like a variety of different ways, and sometimes that means you're going to deviate from your formula. Heck, my podcast, I've done like 800 plus of these bad boys.
Dang, man.
You're 840, right? Let me just give you an idea where you're at, right?
Nice.
So
I'm honored.
yeah. So here's the thing. I incorporated metal. I created a comic book live on the air. There's actually a video of this. I'm not saying it was great, but we just did it. You need to break formula. You need to challenge your parameters. It's the only way you grow.
Right?
So I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay. Are you familiar with a band called Ulver from Norway? Ulver, Ulver.
UL. It sounds familiar. I think I've seen their stuff. I don't know if I've actually listened to them. Yeah.
They're great, man. So they started out as like, definitely like more pagan melodic kind of atmospheric folksy black metal, and then they evolved into this like weird electronic progressive film scory kind of beast that doesn't sound like anything else. And honestly, as much as I love their metal stuff, they're my favorite band. I like their electronic albums more, you know. And but I think here's the thing. I think it's a rare band who can really succeed in a lot of different paradigms like
Oh,
that.
it's incredibly rare
You know,
because most of the time you're pursuing that formula for success,
right?
and then you find it, and then it's like, oh shit, can I do it again somewhere else? And okay, I like Eminem. I think from a lyric standpoint, he's one of the most brilliant lyricists of our times.
I agree. I think he's really good too. Actually.
Yeah, yeah, as a lyricist. But if you look at the formula of his music,
Mm-hmm.
I think the bravest thing he ever did was Recovery, right? Because it's the
Mm-hmm.
only time he really deviated from his formula,
Right.
right? And I wish he'd do it more. because I think it would allow, because what happens with him is he'll have these brilliant songs throughout his career, but I don't like okay, the Marshall Mathers LP2. I don't think you're missing anything beyond Rap God. Like you're not really, and even then,
Sure.
that's just that's more him just showing off. Like this is what I can do, right? And then there's a bunch of other ones he's done where it's just like again, it sounds too much like everything else he's done. So but again, do I fault a guy for selling millions of albums? Like
I
yeah, right,
I
right. I
can't.
mean,
I wouldn't.
exactly. So I mean, I understand why he doesn't, but there's another part of me that's like, I wish he did because he's so good,
Sure.
right? That I think that he could do it. But again, do you wreck that? I think not. Like I said, my favorite, like I think Recovery is great because it's an honest confrontation of his demons. He sings in that album. He tries different things for the first time, and it's just
Right.
like I don't think all of it worked, but I think it gave him it refreshed him in a very healthy way.
Hmm.
And I hope he does that again somewhere down the road. That doesn't again, that's me also acknowledging like from a lyrical standpoint, very like almost nobody can touch him. Like
Yeah.
almost
I mean,
yeah,
he's an outstanding lyricist. I think he always has been. When okay, that Recovery album. When did that come out?
2009.
Really? Dang, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
And the reason I
I
know
thought it was like 2019. You know.
no, 2009 it was when it came out. And I know this because for me, that's when I left Arizona to come back to Canada that year. And so, and the other album you're gonna mock me, I think, a little bit for. My favorite two albums from that year was that one and Avril Lavigne's Goodbye Lullaby album because they
Okay.
actually you're
Sorry,
gonna
sorry, sorry. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Finish,
you're okay,
finish, and then I'll mock you.
okay, because both of them are talking about the same things. They approached 30, and it's
Mm,
the fact that both of them were talking about I I give a shit too much about things. And it's about facing your demons. Like when you're 20, you're so insecure about how the world works. And when you hit
you're right.
30, you stop, you realize that like less of this matters than you think. And then get to my like 40, you're going to be like, you're there or very close to it. Right. And you're
Oh
going to,
yeah,
and
yep, I'm
you're at that
close,
point
man.
where
Don't tell anybody.
shh, it's all over. But the thing
Yeah,
is,
right.
you come to that point, like, I think I'm a monster. I trust nothing I see anymore, like from anybody in terms of
Hmm.
like media.
Yep.
I think like the whole world as I know it is a giant deception, and I think doesn't give a shit about whether I live or die, and it gives me like this. And but then on the flip side, I don't have to cooperate with it. I can do what I want with it, and there's nothing anyone can tell me or not tell me anymore. And it's a wonderfully glorious feeling.
Yeah.
And I see the world for what it is, and I see myself for who I am, and I'm very confident in that person. And that I didn't quite have at 30, but
Hmm.
I was
Sure.
starting to hit that journey, right? And I think like both of those albums, in a lot of ways, is about that journey, right? So
Uh,
now you
to
can talk.
the journey to self acceptance from your
Yeah,
20s. I
yeah,
guess.
exactly.
Right.
No, totally. Like
Yeah.
at 20, you're insecure as fuck. Like you just are,
Yeah.
right?
God, man. Like, you know. Okay, I don't know about you. Like the first half of my 20s sucked.
Yes.
They were just awful. Like I mean, I wouldn't go back and redo those for anything. Second half of my 20s were okay. You know, okay. 30s are better.
First half I was okay. My second half though, I there's the reason my teeth are fake. I faced my first apocalypse in life now by my own personal one. I dealt with a
Uh,
lot of my demons in my late 20s. So
oh,
I think here's what happens. I think it's 24 to 29, depending on who you are. Hold on a second here.
very good.
I want to sneeze and almost in. So who you are, and you come to that point in life. It's like you're an adult now. Okay,
Yeah,
motherfucker. Let's see what
yeah,
you're made
right.
of. Right. Let's see what you're made of.
Yeah, and it
And
changes things, man. You
yeah, it
know.
does. It does. And then you get to 30. You don't care like you did when you're 20, but you still have some things you haven't really figured out. And maybe it's the fact that I think for me it was the pandemic more than anything else. I just came to a realization that not much in this life is worth a damn, really. And when I came to that conclusion, I just realized like if I were to break life down to somebody getting started, it comes down really to two things, maybe three, depending on your point of view. For the two, I think you'll absolutely agree with. Do what you love,
Yeah.
find people worth loving.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Those are the big two. The third, you may or may not agree with, is God, and that's it. They're the only
Sure.
three things in life that are relevant in any way, shape, or form. And if you want to add food in your belly as like one of the great pleasures of life,
Right.
that that's fucking it, man. Like
You
that's
know,
a yeah.
okay. So yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I have my own. I'm
Yeah.
not a person who shies away from the word God
Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think you can use it as a, regardless of what you mean by it. I think that we
yeah.
can all, those of us who maybe, let me back up a little bit. I'm sorry. I definitely used to have an aversion to that word when I was
Yes.
younger. I mean, again, I was raised in the South. I was always naturally rebellious, always kind of naturally unconventional, and then
Yeah.
one thing leads to another, and I'm like, I don't need God, I don't need any of that stuff. But it doesn't have to mean what it can mean a lot of different things. There's a community that I have been a part of off and on, I'll say, over the years. And a guy in that always said that God just stands for good, orderly direction. And
Okay.
I always really liked that, as a person who has struggled with more ethereal spiritual notions, that at least made some kind of sense to me.
So okay, well, this is interesting. Like honestly, for as far as metal interviews goes, this is definitely interesting. We went from politics to
Yeah,
music to God. I mean, this has
I
been
know, I
wild.
know, right?
Right. But again, I
Well,
think
I
this.
don't know, man. I think maybe our heads just occupy kind of a similar space. I
Oh
just
yeah,
think
absolutely.
about,
No,
read about this stuff a
yeah,
lot,
yeah, no. It's because again, we're about the same age.
Yeah,
We're,
right.
we're about the same age. Again, I don't. I'm sure we disagree about some shit.
Sure, sure.
Absolutely. But I also think we've also come to that age in our life where we're looking at the older generation who's still caught up in this bullshit, going, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" And the younger generation, it's like at the very least, like, okay, you'll figure this out because we did, and hopefully you'll figure it out faster than we did,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Right. And that's kind of how I see it. Like I look at again, one of those things like you can't ever last know. When you look at the social media outrage culture for like most of it's just squawking over nothing, no matter what it is you believe or stand, right? And so what happens is when you have that in your head, you're like, okay, what really works, what matters to me, and really what else the fuck is there, right?
Yeah.
When you get right
No,
down to
true.
it, right, right,
Yeah.
and
What works? What matters? Right. Like I can't put it any better than that. God, dude, I have just like I have been, on this journey for the last. I mean, yeah, since I was 20. you
yeah.
know and I don't know that I'll ever finish it, but just trying to just draw some kind of an effective beat on what life is and what does it mean to me and what's my place here in the world.
So let me give you. So that one of my favorite. Again, I'm definitely more of a traditional Christian. I do believe in God and Jesus, all that stuff. But
Sure,
even
sure.
so, right. But even so, I am a big enough man to acknowledge. Again, I don't know your walk of life. Who the fuck
Right.
am I to judge you? Right? I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is though is this. This is one of my favorite books is Rob Bell's Velvet Elvis. And I think when he summed up the debate about God in a very succinct way. If you believe in God, you believe is there more to life. If you don't, if you don't, you believe that right here is all there is. And that's an interesting. And now there are definitely other areas we can go into, right, in terms of beliefs, type of beliefs, all that stuff. But when you
Yeah.
get right down to that, he's right, right? If you believe in God, that means you believe in more in what you see, feel, touch, taste, right? And if you don't, well, then you believe that this is all there is. And I mean, and there are interesting paradoxes to both of those things, right? Because then in that case, what is real? I think that's a really interesting,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's a,
man.
that's a
What's
that's a head trip, right? That is such a
it
head
is?
trip. Both ways you look at that,
It's a
and
head trip, man. and,
yeah,
and yeah, dude, like Okay, so for a long time, and I think probably more than anything, just because it was opposite of how I was brought up and things that I associated with that I didn't like. And not just how I was brought up. I mean, I can't really fault my family or my parents, but how I was brought up and what I saw around me. For a long time, I was a like a hard atheist. I didn't believe in anything, and and something changed somewhere along the way. I think it was, I mean, not to like hop on your therapy couch here, but like, when
Okay, man.
when my dad passed and I was 24,
Yeah.
I was like, God, I mean that guy like was the closest thing that I could conceive is like some kind of tangible local god, I guess, in a
He's who
way.
he's what you went to that no more than what you had, and then he was
Yeah.
gone, and then he was
Hmm.
gone.
Right, right. And then he was gone, and I'm like, he can't die. I mean, he's my dad. What?
Mhm.
And of course, implicate the implications of that were huge in my
Right.
head and in my heart.
That's how you count your mortality. Right. That's how you came face to face with your moment of I'm gonna die someday.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Right. And it's and I mean, I guess beyond that, like I don't like the notion that this is it. That
I
I
I
don't like it, man.
I
It doesn't feel good to me.
so see me at this point in my life, I make fun of atheists a little bit
Mhm.
more because
Sure.
I think they're the most religious people. And now, notice I'm not including agnostics. I'm not including like an agnostic's different. To me, an agnostic is I may not believe in God, but I am open enough to the possibility that there is more. Right?
Hmm.
The only group of people that don't have that are atheists, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Muslims have it. Hindus have it. Hindus may not be sure who to pray and what to pray for certain things. And that's
Right.
hilarious in its own right. But right, and they'll mock themselves. Jews. Every religion on this planet, no matter what it is, right, has this
Mm.
acknowledgement that there's more to life than what we see. And I believe it too, because if that's the case, then all this is stimulation. And I mean that sucks. Like that, right? That's all it just is. I rather think that, right? And again, maybe at the end of the day, and this is me acknowledging that my idea may not be correct.
Sure.
Maybe it is all just a simulation of some kind. But at the same time, okay, I think the more important things in this life, and this is just one of those things of going back to what works and what you want, is me and you are having a conversation right now across two countries that has
Yeah.
gone everywhere from like I think that's a more important thing than say, the latest thing that's coming out of the news about Ukraine. And I'm not saying that Ukrainians aren't suffering, but I just think
Oh yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, it's not the fact that people are suffering that matters. It's what we do in those moments. And I
Hmm.
think that's a real indication of who we are as people, right? Not that we're debating over the politics of this one thing or another. I think that's just stupid, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I
Right?
know. I'm with you, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not interested.
yeah,
I'm happy to talk about ideas about those ideas if that makes sense. Which
yes,
what I feel like what we've done, or I don't know. I guess sort of the meta principles dictating a lot of those ideas behind on two ends of a political spectrum. Yeah, like I feel like we did earlier.
yeah.
But as far as like actually sitting down and having a debate, I don't know.
Well, we can just no. I debate's fine, but as long okay, here's the thing.
Huh.
All right, if I go to you, well, I'm right, and just because I'm right, you're just going to give me the finger
Yeah,
because
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
and I can't blame you for that
Right.
because right, I can't blame you for I give me the finger, right? I mean, that's just
Mhm.
it, right? I don't want to hear that. I'm not that asshole. But here's the thing: me and you can have a different idea about how the world works. We can even disagree at the end of the day.
Sure. Well, and I mean, it sounds like on some level we do disagree, at least superficially.
Yeah,
I mean,
we have more in common than we have different. And
I
that's
agree.
the honest thing. We have more in common than we have different. But
Yes, we
even
do.
but even if we got to that point, it's like I go, Adam, we're gonna have to agree to disagree, or you're like Josh, we're gonna have to agree to disagree. Cool. Want a beer?
Yeah. Right. Right. I don't know, man. Like I'm not one of those dudes who's going to hate you because we disagree. I mean, I disagree with my mother about politics,
Sure.
like my own personal political beliefs. We disagree deeply, and and we disagree about religion, and it's fine,
Yeah.
you know.
Whatever.
And but
Still your mother, you love her. Yeah.
of course, man. It's funny that you mentioned that. I recently read something about, oh, where did I read this? I read something about how politics, at least in America, are tearing families apart. You know how like
Yeah.
people are cutting off their parents because of the difference in their political beliefs, or
Yeah.
vice versa, parents cutting off their kids. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't feel the need to do that. You know?
So here's the thing. So like, okay, this is gonna sound like old school Christian for a second, but just go with me for a minute here.
No, no,
Remember,
no. I'm
yeah,
cool,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. So Jesus hated the Pharisees,
Uh,
hated them,
yes.
and the reason why he hated them was it was mostly virtue signaling. It didn't mean a damn thing they said,
Hmm.
right? It what I found is like okay, I mentioned Ukraine. It's terrible
Yeah.
what's happening over there. Okay, the U.S. is bombing was up until I lived at least a few months ago when I checked was bombing Somalia.
Hmm.
So are we the good guys for bombing Somalia? Are we the bad guys? Are we just as bad as they are? This is just an honest appraisal of what's going on. I'm not gonna hate something just because someone tells me to hate something. I'm tired of that shit.
Hmm.
And what I find is again, the people have been indoctrinated into stuff for an extended period of time have this thing, well, if you're going to support this way of thinking or we're not friends, that's not right or wrong. That's not exchanging ideas. That's just virtue signaling that I think I'm right. It's no different than a religious crusade at that point. Like, what's the fucking difference?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man. I mean, and I don't know. I guess I feel like I'm at the point where there are a few things that I am so convicted in that I am convinced that I have the answer about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are a few convictions that I hold that strongly. There are some, but still, I don't know. I'm just not one to discount what somebody else believes just because I don't believe it.
Well, there's only two things I thought. I'm just in the beginning. If you're going to be, don't be a bigot. In other
Yeah.
words, just
Yeah. Right.
right, don't be a bigot.
Mhm.
Whatever, like, you don't have to agree with everybody's choices. I'm not going to make that argument with you here on the air, but at the same time, you're going to let people the freedom to have those choices. That's
Mhm.
important, first and
I agree with
foremost.
you.
Yeah, right. First and foremost. The second thing, and also, but and the commentary on that, if it doesn't hurt you personally, what's your bucket? Why do you care? Right?
I don't know why. I don't know why, man.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. And
exactly. But
yeah,
I think you and me agree on that one, right? Like that's like a
big
universal,
time.
right? See, I don't like at this point. All I care about with people is that they show up and do what they say they're going. Like they follow through on what they say they're going. That's
Mhm.
all I care about with people. And for the rest, I don't give a shit. Like,
No,
yeah,
man. No, I
yeah,
don't.
I don't. And now that I've come to that, and then when we come to that revelation, it's like the only people I understand. Like going back to the Jesus, I understand why he hated those Pharisees now a lot more. Who
Sure.
the fuck wants a prick that tells you what's right and wrong all the time,
Right?
right? Right?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
and it doesn't even follow through on anything they're saying. That's even worse.
yeah, it is. I think that legislated morality, which to me is kind of like what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And okay, now granted, yeah, I think that morality is the basis for a lot of the basic laws that are common in most countries. But also, I think that there's a step further that you can take that. I think that there are things that are basic human decency, like not killing people, not stealing from people. Honestly, a lot of the Ten Commandments, if I'm being
Yeah,
perfectly honest,
yeah,
those, they're a good basis for a legal system.
yes,
You know what I mean? But like once you get into legislating moral opinions, which I think are different, like you lose people,
yeah,
and because you're right, people don't like to be told what to do, and especially don't like to be told what to think.
yeah. And that's it. And the thing is, and does it really matter what people like in the grand scheme of things? Most of the time, This is the only time you want a legislative system or a moral system to come in is if it's
Mhm.
honest, transparent,
Sure.
and is preventing. And it, okay, me and you get into a fight over something. We can't settle it any other way but from an outside source,
Right.
right?
Right. Sure.
That's it. It's not like overtly complicated here, right?
No,
We
I don't think
mediate,
so either.
right? We mediate until we can't agree, and if we can't agree, we get somebody from the outside. You don't get to that. You don't escalate. You don't escalate it that way. It becomes simple. Now it's easier to do it with two people than a nation, sure, but at the same time, fundamentally speaking, all people really want, you want your ideas to be heard.
Hmm. Right.
You don't
I
even
think most
necessarily.
people are that way.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
it. That's all you want.
Yeah.
Do you care if I agree? Probably not. You care that you're respected.
Hmm.
That's a huge thing, and that's all anybody wants.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, and to be respected by, I think yes, of course, to be respected on an individual one-on-one level like this, for example, but also on a national level, also
Mhm.
on a global level.
Yeah,
People want to feel respected, and they don't want to feel less than. That doesn't feel good for anybody.
they want to feel like their voice matters. That's
Yeah.
it. They don't
Yep.
necessarily. They don't. Again, it doesn't about getting everything you want. It just feels like, are we being heard about the problems going on?
Right.
That's it. That is it. That is all it is, and it's not hard. Especially again, going with everything we've talked about. Me and you are communicating across a vast distance,
Hmm.
right?
Right. Right.
I I interviewed somebody in Japan. I interviewed someone in Israel this week, and that's like this is just
That's
like
really cool, man.
right,
That's super cool.
yeah, right. So that's my point, right? Right, that distance. We have the ability to hear each other more now than we've ever done before.
Sure.
All it really comes down to is just that willingness to listen and use it,
Yeah. Right.
and
Yeah,
that is
man.
how we solve the world today, ladies and
Yep.
gentlemen. No,
That's it.
totally.
World peace just happened right
Yeah,
here on
yeah,
this
exactly.
podcast.
But I gotta say, man, dude, I gotta go see one of your shows. I definitely gotta do that at some point.
Please do. We'll
Yeah,
we'll we'll be somewhere in Canada. Granted, you're closer to us now than we'll be in Canada, but we'll be in Canada next year for what that's worth to you.
I'm gonna be traveling next year. I like
Yeah.
this is my terrible asshole moment. I'm gonna make a van with my logo on it. I'm gonna have a horn. It's like a regular horn, but also we'll shift to actually ice cream music because I just want to actually make people run because I'm that kind of asshole. I'll have
No, I
ice
think
cream.
it's great.
Yeah, I think I did it right. So I will be doing my own thing next year. But
Yeah.
but here's the thing. At some point, I genuinely hope our paths do cross. I really enjoyed this chat. This was
Yeah.
actually really sweet. This was
No,
really really
no, it was
sweet.
cool, man. It was cool. I haven't really just like kind of gone for it with someone like this in a long time. you
Yeah,
know?
and it's refreshing, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it
yeah,
is. Yeah, it is.
yeah. I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, me
Okay,
too.
we gotta actually plug your shit here because
Oh,
that is
right.
what
Yeah,
we
we
gotta do
did
that.
like
So
none of that.
no, we
Right.
did talk a little. We did talk a little
No,
bit,
no, we did. I don't know. I think this communicates maybe a little bit more, than just the basic promo stuff. We got to do the basic promo, but still.
we do it at the end, where
Yeah,
after the
sure.
presentation's done, right? Because that's how you tell a great story, and people want to remember. But I got to get a sense of who you are, and I think it's better to connect with people that way. Because the more people know who you are, the better we'll connect. That's just my
Yes.
theory, though.
Nope.
Right?
I'm with you, man.
All right.
I like it.
So, what was your latest? So, what was your last release, or you got a release coming? Obviously, you're going to Seattle next week. So, what's up?
Yeah, I'll answer both of those. Okay, so last release was an EP we recorded back in 2021. It came out just over a year ago. It's called it's called To Gaze on Stars of Frost. That's what it's called. Yeah, it's an EP. 4 songs. Granted, our songs are like average 6-7 minutes, so it's
Old school
basically
metal
an
right there.
album.
Yeah, old school metal
Yeah,
right
I
there.
mean, like we are what we grew up on, man.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah, and then we've got two. We've actually got a two singles coming out in weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah,
Um,
can you talk about any of them? Or
yeah, totally. So there's just two songs. We just because we were just anxious to put these songs out because we really like them. We were like, we'll do another EP at the end of 2022. Let's just put these two songs out. One's called "Distant Mountains, Distant Gods." The other's called "Unchain the Wolf." And both are they're both. I mean, it sounds like Oak Ash and Thorn for whatever that means, and to me, that means that there are lots of interweaving string parts, lots of melody, lots of harmony, lots of at least borderline progressive songwriting as far as we're not over the top or anything like that. I mean, we're not. I don't know. We're not too techy, but as far as the way that we fit riffs together, we tend to take kind of a Metallica approach to progressiveness, I guess.
so to anybody that wants the English translation, they are a very fun, lively listen. It's a little bit with complex transitions between different things. Does that sound good? Does that sound really good?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, no, because
I'm so
they
I'm
are
so glad you speak both languages.
sometimes. No, it just
Right?
no. These guys are a great band to listen to live. That is definitely the element they're most comfortable in. But their songs will pump you up, will make you feel good. But there's some depth to them as well.
Yep.
How's that? Does that does
Yep.
that does
I
that?
like it. I like
Yeah,
it, man. You said it in a sound bite more than I could. I
I
appreciate
have
that.
I have a big mouth, man. That's what I do. So how can people find you guys?
They can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Oak Ash and Thorn. We're on Instagram of Oak Ash and Thorn. I'm sorry, it's of Oak Ash and Thorn in both spots, Facebook and Instagram. We're on Twitter at Metal Oats. And if you're over 50, you can email us at of Oak Ash and Thorn at gmail.com.
So we'll do this. Instagram seems like the quote unquote cool place. Did I get
Yeah,
that
yeah.
right? Did I get that
Yep.
right?
Instagram.com of Oak Ash and Thorn. That's it, man.
Trained motherfucking professional right here,
Hell
ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen. All right, so that will do it for this episode of Just Joshing. I want to thank Adam very much for shooting the breeze with me for over 90 minutes here. So
Dang, man. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a
yeah,
blast.
yeah, no. So that's my Twitch channel. Hold on a second here. I did this wrong. I got caught up in the promo part of this. We'll do this here and we'll end this like the train something or other I am. And monkey might serve here. So this is my advertising service. If you're advertising a product or a person, you can definitely check us out. I make micro ad videos about, and that can go all over the spectrum. It's right there. So you guys want to check that stuff out, you can do so now. Obviously, like and subscribe to this channel if you are on this channel. And that will do it for today. Tomorrow is just one stream. It's going to be the occult. They're going to be my guests tomorrow. It's going to be fun.
Sweet.
Take care of yourselves and stay inspired out there, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. Okay.